Hello and welcome back to another sixth grade math video. This video is going to be focusing on multiplying and dividing decimals by multiples of 10. So what we mean by multiples of 10 are 10, 100, 1000, numbers that we get when we multiply 10. Okay, here is our first one. We're going to take 4.3 and divide it by 10. And of course, you could take 4.3, put it in a division bracket, put 10 on the outside, and do the division that way, just like we would normally divide numbers or decimals by other numbers. But for this one or this particular case, there is a trick when you are multiplying and dividing by powers or multiples of 10. So I'm going to show you what that is. I'm going to rewrite 4.3. Okay, so when we divide numbers, they get smaller. When I move a decimal point to the left, numbers get smaller. So I'm going to use that to help me. Since the 10 has 1 0, I'm going to move this decimal one place to the left, and that would be all I need to do. That's right. So after I've moved it, my answer becomes 0.43, and I can put a 0 in front just so it makes it look nice. So 0.43 would be the answer. So that is the shortcut. If you divide, you go to the left. If you multiply, which you'll see in a minute or two, we're going to go to the right with the decimal, and you're going to go the number of spaces as you have zeros in the number you're dividing or multiplying by. So let me show you real quick that that really is indeed the answer. I'm going to take 4.3 and divide it by 10, just like we normally divide decimals. I'm going to put my decimal up into the answer space. 10 does not fit into 4, so I'd put a 0 there, but 10 does fit into 43 4 times, which would give me 40. When I subtracted, I'd have 3 left over, and because I can't have remainders when I'm dividing decimals, I'm going to add a 0 here, and 10 goes into 30 3 times, which is exactly 30. And when I subtract it, I have 0 left over. So it does end up being 0.43. It's just the shortcut is a little bit easier. Okay, here is the next one we're going to look at. It's 8,979.6, and we're going to divide it by 100. So I definitely want to consider using the shortcut here since I can, because those are some pretty big numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite 8,979.6. And since we're dividing, my decimal is going to move to the left to make that number smaller. So I'm going to take the decimal, and since 100, which is what I'm dividing by, has 2 zeros, I'm going to move that decimal 2 places to the left. So I'm going to move it 2 spots right there. So now the decimal is between the 9 and the 7. So my final answer would be 89.796. Okay, here's our next one. This time we're going to multiply. So we're going to be taking 10 and multiplying it by 0.8. So I'm going to start by rewriting my decimal number, 0.8. Now this time, when we multiply numbers, they get bigger. To make numbers bigger, we would move a decimal to the right. So we're going to go the other way, but we're still going to go the number of spaces as there are zeros in the number we're multiplying by. So since 10 has 1 0, we're going to take the decimal and move it 1 space to the right and make it land right about there. So since it's now on the right side of that digit 8, that means 8 is in the ones place. So we can just write our answer as 8. We don't need the 0 in the front anymore. Okay, here's our next one. We're going to take 4.901 and multiply it by 10. So let's do 4.901. And we're going to move it to the right because multiplication makes numbers bigger, and we can make numbers bigger when we move the decimal to the right. So we are multiplying by 10, which has 1 0. So we're going to move that decimal 1 space to the right and put it right there. So our final answer would be 49.01. Okay, here is our last example for today's video. We're going to take 5.87 and multiply it by 1,000. So I'm going to start by writing out my decimal number, 5.87 right here. And when we multiply, we move the decimal to the right to make that number bigger. And when we come over here, we see 1000 has 3 zeros. So that means we need to move the decimal 3 spaces to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. 1, 2, 3. Now, what you may have noticed is that I didn't have enough spaces to move it. So I kind of created an extra space after the 7. If that ever happens, you can always fill that in with a 0. So final answer here would be 5,870. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.